A very warm welcome to you as join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuloko. Welcome to the month of May 2012, the eventful month of May. Of course, you know that May 1st is Workers' Day, dedicated to the creators of wealth all over the country. And of course, May 27 is Children's Day in Nigeria to honor the children, the youths. And May 29 has now come to be our commemoration of our return to civil rule in 1999. We now call it Democracy Day. In tax circles, May is the month of the annual tax conference organized by the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. It began in 1999, and this program, Tax Matters, has covered every annual tax conference since the year 2000. So, when we go to the 14th annual tax conference, we will be covering the 13th one, and we have always brought you stories from the annual tax conferences. The annual tax conference organized by the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria remains the largest gathering of tax administrators, tax practitioners, and other stakeholders in Africa. The 14th annual tax conference will hold in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, from Wednesday the 9th to Saturday the 12th of May 2012. Have you registered to participate at the 14th annual tax conference? If you want to do so, you can call any of the numbers on the screen. You can visit the CITN office located temporarily in Alausa in Ikeja, behind Marwa Gardens, at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industries building. You can also visit the office in Abuja and any of the state capitals. Now to other businesses of the day. Between Wednesday the 25th and Thursday the 26th of April, top echelon, top management of the Federal Inland Revenue Service gathered together in Asaba Delta State just as the South-South Economic Summit was going on. In the case of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, it was first and foremost a meeting of the foot soldiers, the officers in the Field Operations Group. And then secondly, an opportunity for the top management to touch base with the foot soldiers serving in the South-South region. Mr. S12E15, the coordinating director, Field Operations Group at the FRS, tells us more.
The purpose of this meeting is to continually examine our monthly performance more critically. The meeting also is intended to give an opportunity to the chairman and the team of the coordinating directors to meet with all of you again and explain to you their focus and to unfold the plan they have for the service in the years ahead.
Mr. Ogumbeson went further to give the scorecard of the service for the first quarter 2012.
With respect to oil revenue, remember the target, in-house target we set for ourselves is 3.3. So for the first quarter, we're expected to have netted in 825 billion, but we brought in 848, which is just 102%. With respect to the non-oil, the total target set for us this year is 1.78 trillion. And we're expected to have brought in 445 billion at the end of the first quarter. We brought in only 312, representing just 70% of the expected revenue. On the whole, we have achieved 91% of the expected revenue for this period.
And then for the tax collection performance of the hosting region, the South-South region.
Total target for the region is 68 billion for this year, and at the end of the first quarter we expect 17.2. You brought in only 15 billion, representing about 90%, which is not a poor performance, but you can still do more.
In his keynote address, the man of the moment, acting executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Alhaji Kabiru Mashi, gave a glimpse into what to expect from the service in the year 2012 and beyond.
It's a collective responsibility, and let's work together. Let's move the service forward. Let's improve our collection. You know better than myself where we have leakages, how we can treat taxpayers better. For instance, tax clearance certificate. Taxpayers will come and ask for TCC because we have insisted that before you do contract or something with government, you need tax clearance certificate. Make it easier for taxpayers to get this thing. As long as they have paid what they're supposed to pay, give it to them. If you make it difficult, the tendency is they will go out and get fake TCC, which is now rampant in the system. One ministry was to award contracts, the open bids. Over 100 and something TCCs were fake. Just recently. Or if I'm just commencing business, I come to your office, I need tax clearance certificate. What does it take to give me tax clearance that very day? Because we are talking of taxpayer as king. These are some of the areas we can serve taxpayers better. Or, for instance, VAT. You and me know there are a lot of leakages in the field. There are taxpayers who are supposed to pay VAT. They collect the money, but they don't remit to us. We are all supporting you to generate the much needed revenue. The basic language the government speaks to us is revenue target. The CD MOG has told you the figure given to us this year, the expectations of government, and I know, and believe me, I know you can do it. And no matter how much we shy away from it, the service remains a target-driven institution. All the grammar we are talking, all what we are doing is how do we improve our revenue collection? Because when you go to a FAC meeting, the accountant generals and commissioners will tell you if your collection drops, they will start to ask why. Why is your collection dropping? Because it is what they take home to do their day-to-day activities. In the first quarter of the year, 2012, our quarterly government target is 909 billion, and the service collected 1.17 trillion for the same period. This is better than last year's first quarter performance of 955 billion naira and 29% over and above the government target for the year. The above points to the fact that we are now growing the non-oil tax revenue to expectation. We have a target of 2012 to grow the non-oil revenue collection significantly and get it to 10% of the non-oil GDP. This is as already agreed in our corporate plan for the period.
The Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria presents its 14th Annual Tax Conference. Theme: Taxation as a Tool for Economic Transformation. Date: Wednesday, 9th of May to Saturday, 12th of May, 2012. Venue: Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja FCT, Nigeria. Highlights include hospitality night, exhibitions by corporate organizations, paper presentations, syndicate sessions, games and sporting activities, gala night including Miss Tax competition. For further inquiries, please contact Ronke Ojo on 080-3784-8138 or Fisaya Ogbade on 080-3708-7013.
Welcome back. Now you know what to expect at the 14th Annual Tax Conference. If you have not registered, register now. Before we went on break, we were sharing with you what transpired at the Field Operations Group meeting of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, which was held in Asaba Delta State between Wednesday the 25th and Thursday the 26th of April. And before we went on break, we were listening to the Acting Executive Chairman, Alhaji Kabiru Mashi, sharing with us his plans or the plans of the service for the near future. Alhaji Mashi's henchmen the coordinating directors of the service, took their turns after the executive chairman's presentation to align with the dreams, the vision, and the plans of the acting chairman.
FIRS can lead the transformation of Nigeria. And when we talk about FIRS leading the transformation of Nigeria, who is FIRS? We are FIRS. Do we want to lead the transformation of Nigeria? Yes. Can we lead the transformation of Nigeria? Yes, yes we can. You moved the revenue collection to the 4 trillion bracket. And I know you can move it to the 7 trillion bracket, even if the target this time around is in the 5 trillion bracket.
When our political leaders were fighting for independence, they didn't really fight for economic independence, but political independence. If you check the benefit of the oil in Nigeria, about 80% of the benefit goes to the foreigners because they have the technology. So they have everything that it takes to drill, distribute the oil. That is why today we don't have any refinery. So the challenge is in us as tax administrators, because there are many countries that are not having oil, yet they are better than Nigeria. If you have traveled to some of these African countries, looking at their airports, when you come to Nigeria airport, you feel ashamed to be a Nigerian. And some of these countries, they don't have oil, yet they harness their resources very well. So we have a challenge, as we said in our mission, to be the pivot of economic development. How do we do that? It's like being professional in what we are doing. You see, as a tax administrator, you have a lot of challenges. You have to be ahead of the taxpayer, because the revenue the government generates determines the level of our development. We shouldn't be myopic in our thinking of our own self-aggrandizement.
My plan for 2012 is to ensure that a great change happens in foreign land revenue. The banks in Nigeria a few years back, if you go, they have to look for your file. Today your file is in a computer in front of them. All you needed is your account number, and he can trace everything. If you go to look for a US visa today, they know your number, and they can trace a history 5 years back, many years back. Foreign land revenue has taken one step. We have been collecting our taxes through web portal, which is one leg of it. We intend to continue with that. So
it's important, as we move into this new era, to use the equipment necessary to be able to assess properly, to collect, and be happy with ourselves that a good work has actually been done. So I don't have any doubt in my mind that as we work together, as we go ahead to implement these policies, we should be able to hit the rooftop in our collections and assessments and see that FRS will be able to be rated as a first-class government agency in this country.
Then followed a robust question and answer session.
First of all, I would love to suggest that the FRS should consider abolishing penalties and interest on arrears of debts of NDAs. Now, an NDA, of course, allocations and whatever, taxes are withheld by an NDA. And of course, at the end of the day, penalties and interest are imposed. Now, where do we expect an NDA? Let's take for example like Almajiri Empowerment and Development Commission to get the penalty and interest from to pay. Because I don't think they get any allocation or whatever to take care of situations like that. So we should consider abolishing penalty and interest on areas of debt of MDs and think of better ways of forcing collection.
We will continue to have interest and penalties. We will not abolish. But with respect to the arrears of the past, up to 2007, Mr. President in 2007, that's the government of Obasanjo, had given approval that we should waive the penalties. But the interest remains. The president did not waive interest at that time. But the penalty aspect of it, where you have been applying 100% on amount outstanding, you have to go back and clean up those mess.
Was holding type of VAT. Ideally, they should remit this at the same time they are paying the contractor. But that is not done. I know before, some of the MDAs will divert that money into a bank. That money will be generating interest. Then after some time, maybe they remit to Inland Revenue. 2, some may even divert the money. 3, some may use the money to award contract again. So that is a problem. But if we are up to date, I know it's a very dicey issue. And how do we punish somebody who is supposed to do something he has not done? I know the interest and penalty, there are a lot of arguments for or against, up to board level. But I think it was agreed to continue with what is being done. With the e-payment now, maybe that may not be possible, because ideally once they are paying, the money should be paid.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, waiting be this.
The deduction now for withholding tax.
Withholding guinea. Look, if you not pay me my correct money today, hey, Munu get me half for.
But madam, should be your company paying income tax.
Yes, that one I enough load for me to carry. Why in I won't come add join them again?
You see, withholding tax now advance payment for income tax. So when you do some kind job like contract, we go remove small from them when we won't pay you.
And when I go contract am up, no. I bet tell me another.
No. We must pay the money to FIRS within 30 days, and they will give us withholding tax credit note to take show say you don't pay part of your income tax in advance.
So
now to help make the money where you go pay at the end of the year small.
So this withholding tax one thing, it be like part payment of no.
Exactly, madam.
I beg you, give me my check.
Remember, come collect your credit note.
Withholding tax now for we own good. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
You are still on to Tax Matters, and we are gradually coasting home. But before we go, let us share with you the interviews that we conducted with the acting executive chairman and the coordinating directors on other matters germane to a smooth running of the Nigerian tax system.
I want to find out what strategies you are putting in place to improve non-oil revenues.
If you look at the figures, you will see that non-oil collection has been increasing. I mean, we're doing everything incrementally to increase. Go back to 2004 and you will see that non-oil revenue has continued to increase at least by a minimum of 15% every year. So when people ask me, what are you doing to collect or to improve on non-oil collection? I say, but it's increasing. It's not as if each year you find us growing lower than we did last year. So we will continue to re-engineer our system. Now, why you do not know or you do not understand that it's improving is the fact that you're relating it to oil collection. But that's not a good basis. For as long as the price of oil in the international market increases spirally, you will continue to have a lower ratio of non-oil contribution. So you are looking at the nominal figures, but we are looking at the real contribution that is happening. Now, one of the strategies is identifying who the operators in the informal sectors are. informal sector is the engine of growth of every country. But in this country, because you have oil just coming in unexpectedly, we don't focus attention in that sector. Now for us, because we also administer the taxation of personal income tax within the Federal Capital Territory. And so we believe what we will do is working with the Federal Capital Territory itself now. They want a revenue board, and we say, no, you don't have to have too many revenue boards in the same location. Too many spoons will spoil the broth. So what we do is work together in partnership, collaborate with them, exchange of information, and at the same time, we're working with the State Internal Revenue Board to make sure that we're able to compare notes and exchange information. Once we can bring those groups of taxpayers into the tax net, we're done. We will then introduce presumptive tax regime. In fact, in 2012, it's going to be a major issue. Introducing presumptive tax regime.
What does that mean, sir?
Presumptive tax regime simply means I will have presumed that you are making income, because truly you are in business. If you are not making income, you should just fold your bags and baggage and go home. But because you're still in that business, means something is keeping you. Okay, so I will look at your potentials, ability, and use that to determine how much tax you will pay. The intention is to work with you to help your business grow, because then I know you, I know how strong you are. I'm encouraging you, I'm supporting your business. I even help you to get loans from the bankers, wherever. Anything we need to do to help your business grow. The primary focus is not more revenue now. It is ensuring that you play your own small role in economic development. So you will have a range of taxes from between 5,000 and 25,000 naira, because these are one-man businesses largely. And so their size will determine in which of the brackets they fall into. So that will be the starting point. It may be small. Little drops of water make the mighty ocean at the end of the day. But for us, it is to swell the tax base first and foremost.
We are trying to expand the base, the revenue base, by making it simple, enlightening the taxpayers on how to prepare records, simple records. Now, when you come to our office, it's either this is my income, these are my expenses, this is what you are supposed to pay, and you pay. We will be friendly to taxpayers, because without the taxpayer, there will not be tax collected. We will sit down together and map out our strategies. I will advise everybody to pay what is due, no less, no more. We will embark on massive tax audit, because we have field tax audit, we have enforcement unit, we have investigation unit, we have intelligence unit. We can go out and give us information. If we find you are defaulting, there are sanctions that are to be imposed, and they will not hesitate to impose such sanctions. So my appeal to all taxpayers is, let's cooperate, work together for the benefit of the country, because it is with this tax that the government can provide all the much needed facilities for you and me.
Let us join hands with the Federal Inland Revenue Service and indeed all other tax authorities at the state and local government levels to move the Nigerian tax system forward by paying our taxes as and when due. We want to thank you most sincerely for sparing time to spend the last 25 minutes with us. Let us meet at the annual tax conference beginning on Wednesday the 9th through to Saturday the 12th of May 2012. Bye for now.